Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the D&B podcast, episode 31 to be exact. I am your host, Camilo Salamander, and my co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Now, today, we have the aftermath of Smackdown and the draft. So, first of all, KB, just an overall feel of the draft. How do you feel about it?
I'm in the middle. Parts of it were a slam dunk. Other parts was a complete letdown and had me questioning the draft selection. The rules I kind of didn't understand either. I'm in the middle. I like some of it. I don't like others, and I have questions about 1 and 2.
All right. Me personally, I believe they saving. So SmackDown doing pretty good on bringing in the ratings and everything. So I'm really thinking they saving like the big shit for Monday. Hopefully we'll tune in for that and they can pick their ratings up. I think that's what they was. I think that's why I kind of like Friday seemed like such a letdown. But bringing in the show, we got the first and second round. We got Roman Reigns. He will remain on SmackDown, which was highly predictable. And then something that caught me off guard was Charlotte Flair getting drafted to SmackDown as the Raw Women's Champion. So as of right now, Raw does not have a champion on their show. So one thing with that I would like to say is mainly, I think, I was talking to you about this yesterday. I really think that they are going to do the thing of a double champion on SmackDown for at least to Survivor Series. I don't think they're going to do the traditional, well, not really traditional, that thing that they've been doing for the last couple of months with, each champion, each show face each other. I think it's going to be the Survivor Series elimination match with the men's and women's. And then in between those matches, you get your regular matches that they're going to do. And I think that they're going to do a build up to, basically had a Raw division, they just wrestling. And then they're building up a number one contender to face Charlotte at Survivor Series. And then they're going to win. And then that will put Charlotte in line to face the SmackDown Women's Champion. If Becky get drafted to Raw, that will means that mainly at Saudi Arabia, Sasha is winning, because if Becky get drafted to Raw, that means that Becky and Bianca is on Raw, and on the SmackDown person is Sasha. So it kind of leads to making it very obvious at that point if it does happen. But I don't know. I'm really hoping that if they keep Becky on SmackDown, they will do this, because the ratings is already on SmackDown side. It would bring more people to watch it, because it would bring the thing of, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen, because it never happened before. Anytime basically, if you carrying a Raw title and you get drafted to SmackDown, it's typically you'll drop it either the next pay-per-view or you'll drop it here soon. Or in some cases they switch titles, but I think in this one they can tell something to a completely different story that they never told before. Have the Raw Women's title and the SmackDown Women's title on SmackDown, and you just tell that story. And meanwhile, on Raw, you build enough females that can actually be, potentially can face Charlotte and bring that title back to Raw. So, if you do it that way, it works on both sides, because it can pick up the ratings on Raw too. Because you're tuning in wondering like what's going on, are they gonna give them a new belt or anything like that? So it kind of works on both sides.
Salamander, you're giving them way too much credit, bro. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. Becky Lynch, big time Bex, Becky biceps, Becky quadriceps. Yeah, I listen when big time Bex talks. I listen. She's the most over woman in professional wrestling. She's going to be drafted to Raw, and pretty much they're going to take the absolute laziest way of getting the belt back on Becky Lynch without doing the whole I never gave up the belt. I should be the rightful Raw Women's Champion. Because her and Charlotte are just going to swap belts. And it's like Becky never lost it to begin with. She just took a long hiatus to give birth and become a mother. You're giving them way too much credit, bro.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully they can surprise me. Hopefully they realize what they was doing is not what we want to see. So hopefully they will make some changes. So I hope they go the route or something similar to what I said. I'm really hoping for that. But
they're not gonna have Becky Lynch drop a title in her second match. Her third match technically, but it'll be her second match going for an extensive period of time.
That's why
she's not losing in Crown Jewel.
That's why she's retaining, and that's why, because they like I told you on the phone yesterday, they're not gonna have more than 2 women's matches in Saudi Arabia. That's not going. It was when they did the first women's match ever with Natalia, that was pushing it. Now, but they ain't gonna give them 2. They're gonna give you 1 and everything. So with that,
I think
Becky, and Charlotte, she's so that means that she gonna be on Smackdown for at least a month as Raw Women's Champion. Unless she Raw Women's Champion, she appearing on Raw as champion too. But I don't think they should do that.
Well, the changes don't take place after Crown Jewel, so they're still going to be on their respective shows. That's why
drive until after Crown Jewel.
Yeah, that's when the changes take effect.
You should have waited. You should have hosted the drive like that following week after that. Oh, Crown Jewel's on Thursday, so do the motherfucking show. And then that next day, you get them back in America, and then you do the drive. That's what they should have did. And fuck the night shit. Do that shit in one night. Make a special appearance. You don't do it on SmackDown. Make a special episode of SmackDown. It's a 3-hour show just for this one moment. And that way you can drop the full roster. And then
First off, Fox is on regular television, bro. The news comes on at 10. That can't happen. Number 2, we got to get those ratings for Monday Night Raw. Salamander, you're not thinking big picture. We got to get those ratings for Monday Night Raw. We got to have something special. We got to have the part 2 of the draft.
On Raw, the full draft on Raw, since it's 3 hours.
Nah. Fox wants some of that action too.
They will. They getting the big.
See, they gotta please both. That's why they split it in 2. We gotta please both. We gotta please both.
Made 2 nights, like it's too much. Everybody hype for one night 2. You ain't got the same hype.
Listen, bro. We gotta please both. We gotta please Fox. We gotta please USA.
I don't know. I feel like the 2 nights is just overwhelming a little bit.
But I want to acknowledge something here. You rushed past the point, and I just let you go on your little tirade. You brushed past the point that the tribal chief, the head of the table, the WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, was the number 1 overall draft pick.
I mean, that was
number 1.
Obvious. I knew
number 1.
Especially when they said that SmackDown had the first pick. I knew they was gonna pick him. You
number
think
1.
That's the best thing that happened to SmackDown in the last since 2016 for real. So it's very obvious they was gonna pick him.
Don't discredit my tribal chief. You will acknowledge him. Acknowledge him like the geeks who said he was gonna lose at Extreme Rules.
He almost his cousins, man.
It was not his cousins. It was a higher being. The Samoan dynasty Samoan dynasty was shining down on my tribal chief in his darkest of times. Before
he even thought about doing that, the Usos came out and saved him.
Listen, he had the luck of the gods. The Samoan dynasty was looking out. We didn't get no type of explanation about that either. So I'm assuming the gods helped him.
Yeah, they stood. Yeah, like it's a lot of things that they just show us but never touch up on. like I said plenty of times, we still never know who threw that pie at Kevin Owens.
True.
We will never know that.
Who finished out the first round?
We will never know that, and we will never know who rose the briefcase or the title on Stone Cold. There's certain things we will never know that we just like we will never know who cut the ropes.
Who rounded out the first round?
We have Raw ending. So we got round 2. We also have
well, hold on. You only named 2 in the first round. It was Roman, Big E, Charlotte, and who else?
Bianca.
That is a power move for Raw, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Liked it a lot.
It kind of makes you think the Street Profits might go ahead and switch over there too. Because
I was thinking that.
Recently, they've been keeping husband and wife together.
True.
But it kind of made me think, well, we'll say this. Well, it's coming up now. So, right after the first picks, we got Roman Reigns coming down to the ring, addressing the crowd at Baltimore. And this led into Brock Lesnar coming out, and they had an intense stare down that actually gone physical. So, with that being said, Brock, he suplexed Roman twice. And he gave his cousins an F5. So he laid out the whole bloodline. He stood tall at the end. Later on in the show, we seen that Brock is technically a free agent. I don't get how if the motherfucking draft ain't even over yet. But he's a free agent. So, and then we also see Roman confronting Paul Heyman, and he's basically telling him, if you on my side and you my friend, why you not looking out for my family? Because my cousins haven't been drafted. So basically, make sure Monday they get drafted to Smackdown. He needed help. And when he left, he told the Usos, if y'all don't get drafted, leave Paul ass for dead. So that kind of makes me think. All right, for one, I don't want Paul Heyman back with Brock. Not at this moment, because I'm loving this more like Brock is. He's not. I say he in between the middle. He's in between being the babyface and the heel still. But he's just right now. He's just a character that just whoops ass. That's really just him. But I love to see this bearded ponytail wearing Brock with his Paul Bunyan shirt, cutting promos. I love to see that. But to me, I think it's going to play a role at Crown Jewel. It's going to be a thing where, I think Roman's going to retain, but he's going to find out there, or it's going to lead up to it, or the aftermath of being in Saudi Arabia. It's going to come out that Paul Heyman was actually playing both sides. And then basically he's going to fire Paul Heyman. And then I think Brock don't really want Paul Heyman back, so it kind of leave Paul in the tangle. But this is basically going to lead into Paul basically showing his loyalty to Roman. And then they'll reunite after this feud is over. I think that's initially that's what they're going to happen to, especially if they kind of confirmed it when he said he's a free agent. So they're not going to put him on Raw, and they're not going to put him on SmackDown, because he's basically going to be on SmackDown because he's aiming for Roman. But I think after this feud is over with, that's why he's a free agent, because after this feud is over with, he actually going to move to Raw. And hopefully, if the Almighty stay on Raw, we can get that fucking Almighty and Brock Lesnar's match that we've been hoping for. But overall, what do you think about the whole, promo from Roman addressing the crowd of Baltimore, and the whole stare down and they got physical with Brock Lesnar, plus the aftermath of it, of the Usos going undrafted at night 1 and everything, and the Paul Heyman shenanigans?
So I'm kind of conflicted. I loved everything. I love the new nickname for the tribal chief, the suplexorcist. like you, I do agree something's going to happen at Crown Jewel. I think Paul Heyman is either going to low blow Brock or he's going to hit Brock with the title on the outside. And Roman will hit the spear and he'll retain. And it'll have Paul Heyman choosing who he really wants to be with.
Good question.
Yes.
At Saudi Arabia, since we got a new looking Brock with a beard, we got this bearded ponytail wearing Brock with the Paul Bunyan shirt when he cut promos when he's not in his gear. Do we get a new Brock with new gear, or do he still be the same Brock Lesnar that we seen with the shorts and the MMA gloves? That's my one thing that I've been thinking. Are we gonna get the trunks wearing Brock Lesnar back, or are we gonna get the same Brock Lesnar?
I think we'll get the same Brock Lesnar. The only thing that's changed is just I think his attire to the ring is different. I don't think his in-ring gear will change. It's still Brock Lesnar. Plus, I like him with the UFC feel. He's always like, the thing is, when I see Brock Lesnar in shorts, I know it's about to be, he's about to beat somebody's ass. You just know it. I never really felt that with the trunks. With the trunks, I just felt like he was just a dominating grappler. He was a dominant wrestler. But now, when I see him after his UFC career with the trunks in WWE, he's like, no, you're a fighter. JBL calls him the best combat athlete in sports history, and that is the absolute truth.
Okay.
But to finish up, I don't think the Usos get drafted to Raw. I think they get drafted to SmackDown. I think Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, they do their input and they get the Roman Reigns leverage to where the Usos get drafted to SmackDown. But I can see them being drafted to Raw.
Watch. What happens, like, they're gonna stretch this stuff out on Raw, and then they're gonna be like SmackDown's very last pick, the Usos.
Yeah.
I could see that. Cause it's gonna
that's what I was thinking.
Like one of those, like, it's gonna be a thing. They're gonna push it like it's Paul. Cause I don't think Roman gonna pop up on Raw. It's gonna be the Usos and Paul Heyman on Raw, and basically they're gonna be like hovering Paul. And I think like throughout the whole show, staring him down. Like they already they already know for what Roman told them. They already know what to do, so they just looking at him like, look, you don't even know what you got coming for you, so you better hope it's already.
Yeah, I can't remember her name offhand. Who's the girl that's always interrupting him trying to get an interview? I can't think of her name.
Is it Kayla Braxton?
Thank you. Yes, Kayla Braxton. I think we tease that more, and Kayla Braxton's on Raw, trying to get the scoop from Paul Heyman. He's on his phone constantly throughout the night. You can run it all night because for real, they're one of the best things on SmackDown. Like every time he's talking, especially during the whole Brock Lesnar thing. Hey, Paul, got a minute? And then he just goes in on her. And I think we teased that all night, like how they were doing Big E with the Money in the Bank and Paul Heyman. That's been a running gag, and it's always been funny. So I think they run that all night Monday. And then he gets a call, and it's from the tribal chief. And of course, you won't hear the conversation, but Paul Heyman's so good, he'll pretty much say it through his words. And like Roman calls, hey, we're getting down to the last little bit. My cousins haven't been drafted. And he's like, no, my tribal chief, I'm working on it right now. Mm-hmm. And then, because remember, it was the wise man. So he'll ask him, he'll be like, are you my wise man? And he'll be like, yes, tribal chief, I'm your wise man. And then at the end, he'll be like, I'll make sure I get it done. And Kayla Braxton's right there. You run it all night. It's a good running gag. It will not stop being funny because Paul Heyman is sweating his ass off trying to make sure the Usos get drafted to SmackDown. If I'm booking it, that's how I would do it. But like you, I also agree.
They do sound good.
Yeah, but like you, I also agree. They will be drafted in the 4th round. They will be SmackDown's very last pick. But here's the kicker. I think the Usos leaving for dead anyway.
They do, but I don't think Roman gonna turn his back on them yet. I think
no Roman, like you said, Roman won't be there.
Yeah, I think he gonna turn his back on them at Saudi Arabia, like I think that's gonna be the big moment for Paul Heyman. Like basically, who did he side with? I think Roman basically gonna turn his back on him, but the Usos already did. And they kind of telling him, warning him like what he was doing on Raw and stuff. But it's a thing like he's like, I make my decision, when I want to, or whatever. Then when he do it, he'll make his decision, boom. Then you kind of see, like, I would say, not really the downfall of the bloodline, but like you kind of see that Paul was a good addition to it. Like he kept them intact. You kind of see that happening, especially if they book who I want to see at Survivor Series, rocking them. Then that's when you can have Paul Heyman basically coming back, showing him his loyalty to Roman, and then basically the bloodline is tapping him back in. And then he can be a part of this feud with the Rock.
Yeah, it does. That does sound good, and that actually sounds like Paul Heyman writing. It sounds like incredible television, which the Roman Reigns storyline has been since he came back. It's just been great television.
You say that sound like Paul Heyman's writing?
Yes.
That's because it's all about the book and the storyline. Plus, I'm a Paul Heyman style.
It makes sense, bro. Because you know what? Seeing the Roman Reigns storyline, it really makes you wonder, like, why isn't Paul Heyman writing the whole fucking show? Let Paul Heyman write the whole fucking show. Because this Roman Reigns has been incredible television. He has been, him and Seth Rollins and Edge and Bryan Danielson, when he was there, they were keeping Smackdown afloat. Smackdown wasn't doing nothing outside of them. You had Cesaro every now and again, but Bryan Danielson had his hand in that too. Paul Heyman's got his hand in the Roman thing. It's funny that the guy who has the best storyline in the business has Paul Heyman helping write it, and the rest of the shows don't level up.
Right. But following up the segment with Roman Reigns, we got the first match of the night. Now really we just gonna cover the important pieces of SmackDown because it's a draft, so really most things on the show is irrelevant besides the drafts and the matches that are actually meaningful. This is one. We got Kevin Owens versus Happy Corbin. And with this match, basically, Happy Corbin won. But I'm actually thinking that basically Happy Corbin and Riddick Moss or Madcap Moss, they are basically a team. So I'm thinking like basically for the next few weeks they just gonna basically be beating Kevin Owens' ass, and I really think this gonna lead into Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming back together. That's why I kind of think this is that's what's needed. So especially if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get drafted to the same show.
Solomon, I only got one question about this. Let me know if I'm tripping. Remember when Ambrose was on his way out? Mm-hmm. They gave him bullshit after bullshit after bullshit.
True, I know you about to go with this.
With KO's contract coming up, I think in January.
Mm-hmm.
Is he out the door? It's looking like he's getting the Ambrose treatment. I mean, he's losing the fucking Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin. The mid-card vortex of doom. Happy Corbin.
It is true. It do make you think. I didn't even think about that until you just said something. So yeah. I won't doubt it.
I mean, I don't know what you do with Kevin Owens, because if you don't know that he's re-signing, it kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. He hasn't hinted at wanting to re-sign. He hasn't been like, let's work out a deal. He put up the coordinates of Mount Rushmore, which was a team that he had with the Young Bucks, I think in ROH. Salamander, I think he might be out the door. I think he might be all elite.
Kevin Steen
confirmed at AEW Revolution in late February.
Only time will tell.
It's a shame too.
I would tell, plus his future booking. We see how he's been booked for the rest of this year. If it's been booked horribly, then yes, I think he's gone. But if not, if they end up doing like something like teaming him back up with Sammy, and he actually his booking is making sense, then yeah. But if they gonna book him like horribly, they trying to basically destroy his character on his way out the door. So that
Listen, can I tell you something? And you might find this absolutely shocking. Are you ready? Are you ready? Now, KO lost the Universal Championship to Goldberg at Fastlane. Mm-hmm. He beat Jericho for the United States Championship. What was that, 2016?
WrestleMania.
2020. I can't remember the WrestleMania. I think AJ Styles and Randy Orton kicked it off.
It was WrestleMania 33.
Okay. He won the United States Championship there. You know that's the last championship he's held. He's touched no championship since then. Not even joking.
WrestleMania 36 is going to 37 right now. No, 37 going to 38, right?
37, I think.
Damn, so he ain't held a title about 4 years.
He hasn't held a single title in about 4 years. Look it up and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last championship he held was the United States title that he took off Chris Jericho.
I didn't even think of that. After the match, we got the next draft picks. We got Drew McIntyre to Smackdown, which is that was already predicted that, since basically he made a deal with, Bobby Lashley, even though the Almighty isn't the WWE champion anymore. It just made sense. Like, you waited. It just seemed like you really got pumped. Like, you waited until he dropped the title now to go be like, oh, I'm going to challenge you. But at that point, he needed to, if they're going to put him back in the main event picture and in competition with the title, they needed to put him on SmackDown anyway to face a new title, because you had like 4 chances to get this title. You got put to sleep twice. It's like, it's time for you to face something different. So the move to SmackDown was pretty smart, and I agree with that. We also got RK Bro to Raw, and they are staying on Monday nights, which is very predictable. I don't think they're gonna switch over to tag teams and nothing like that. So, but I love this tag right now. I think this is the hottest tag in WWE besides the Bloodline. I think this is the hottest tag right now that WWE has on the main roster. And then we also got the New Day going to SmackDown. So officially, the New Day is broken apart, split up with Big E. Now I really hope that they do something different with Big E, since now it's officially that he is separate from Kofi and Xavier Woods. I really hope they change. If they gotta change his attire, because you can't be on your own if you still, everything fucking from your head to your toe reminds you of the time at doing the New Day. So I really think that's the main thing. To change his music, change his Titantron. You need to change his damn attire too, because every time I see him, I think of Big E the New Day. And low key his movesets too. And I think everything will fucking change. Now, then we got Edge to Raw. Now, when Edge got drafted to Raw, I was thinking like, Edge going to Raw, boom. And then they was going to switch over to the next one. But the thing about this is, I'm kind of yay and nailed on this one, because Edge, he got drafted to Raw, then next thing you know, he came out. Now with this, I was kind of like thinking like, no, he should have been. I think he should have been like, he should have been there. He should have popped up on Raw like 2 weeks later or whatever. Because when you think about his last time being on TV, he was taken out on a stretcher. So it felt like, he should have sold that a little bit more and everything. So I kind of feel like it was too soon for them to push him and have him come back. But this had basically led into the promo. He was cutting the promo. Seth Rollins interrupted him in the middle of the promo and basically told him, you're a liar. And I didn't think that you was going to show up, so I showed up to your house. And the door was unlocked, which is, that kind of, but one of the evasion angles, that we get in WWE of, people popping up at the houses, besides the one with Stone Cold and Brian Pillman, this is top notch right here. This is one of the best ones, I would say. But everything about it was good. Seth Rollins was just being an asshole, just coming in, going through the refrigerator, throwing his coat everywhere, but through the refrigerator, drinking orange juice. Orange is like $4 a bottle now, so that's very asshole-ish. Then you gonna put your feet on the table and everything too. So yeah, then on top of that, you gonna say my daughter artwork is trash. Like, yeah, he was being very asshole-ish, but that's what got this segment over, and I like that and everything. So this was good. This was good, but I kind of think that Seth Rollins might fuck around and get drafted to Raw too. I kind of think they're gonna continue this storyline between the two. So if he get drafted to Raw, they kind of did confirm what we said earlier, that Becky Lynch might get drafted to Raw too. She's retaining the title at Crown Royal, and then Crown Jewel, and then her and Charlotte will probably swap titles. So if he get, we will see on Monday. But if he get drafted to Raw, I could see that happening definitely.
So my problem, before I touch on the Seth Rollins segment, give me the rundown of the second round. So whatever round we're on.
We got Drew McIntyre to SmackDown.
Okay.
RK Bro to Raw. The New Day to SmackDown, and Edge to Raw.
I loved Drew McIntyre to SmackDown because we need victims for the Tribal Chief. And no geeks. The Tribal Chief is not losing to Drew McIntyre. We need victims for the Tribal Chief. My secondary question, or one of my two questions that has to do with the draft that I didn't like. Why the fuck are we breaking up the New Day again? Big E can be a single star and still have the New Day by his side. It doesn't mean they have to be there for his singles matches, but he can still feel like a part of New Day and still be Big E.
If you're going to break them up and put them on separate shows, that's why I'm saying, like, you might as well change Big E altogether. He shouldn't have his attire shouldn't resemble the New Days at all. You change his music, change the Titantron, change his attire, change his moveset. None of anything resembling him shouldn't resemble the New Day at all, if that's what y'all gonna do. It's like they break them up without breaking them up.
But see, my problem is WWE doesn't listen to their fans because we don't want Big E by himself. We want Big E with the New Day. The Big E can still be in the New Day and still be serious Big E. What's the problem with WWE? And it seems like you just can't have friends. You notice that? Like, it just seems like you can't have friends.
You can't.
Like, that's the goofiest shit I've ever seen. Like, you literally got what the fans want in the New Day. Like, here's the thing. When Kofi won it, they weren't trying to separate the New Day then. Now that Big E came back to Monday Night Raw, got redemption for his boy, you want to break them up again? And put them... Think about this, bro. They took away a tag team from Raw who's desperately needing tag teams. You took a tag team from a show that needed tag teams and put them on a show in SmackDown whose tag team division is decent right now. It needs more teams, but they have teams. They're just not pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of RK Bro and the New Day, who is there? Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo? Mustafa Ali and Mansoor?
But those could be low-key good teams, though. Like, especially
it could be.
Ali and Mansoor. I really think that's a good caliber. You know what I'm saying?
Caliber.
Yeah. So
but are they the New Day though?
No, they're not. But they can. Man, they can. The New Day can get so many tags over. They get, like, the New Day on SmackDown. Let's say they feud with fucking. Let's say Humberto Carrillo get drafted. His team get drafted to SmackDown, and they actually be in a good feud with the New Day, and this was actually good. And the New Day, loses the feud. They put that team over, but they got to capitalize on it. Just because you win don't mean nothing. You got to capitalize on it. You got to continue with the great booking and everything. One win don't mean nothing. So that's just it. I just hope that everything really gets better on the booking side.
Well, my thing is this: you have the Usos and the New Day on the same show, but you could really have the New Day back on Raw with Big E and help bolster that tag team division. There's only one good tag team on that Raw division, and that's RK Bro. But we are also telling the story of Randy Orton betraying Matt Riddle. So why take the New Day off? That sounds like the perfect team for Randy to turn heel on Matt Riddle, because they had problems in the beginning of the Matt Riddle and Randy Orton thing. Remember when I think Kofi hit him with a tomato by accident? The seeds are there. Why move him to SmackDown?
Yeah.
And Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston have beat that go back even further than that. That sounds perfect to me.
Right.
But finishing out the second, who was after the New Day?
The New Day, it was Drew McIntyre to SmackDown, RK Bro to Raw, the New Day to SmackDown, and Edge to Raw.
Edge will be champion of Monday Night Raw in a year and a half.
Yeah, most definitely.
18 months.
That's who might be Big E dropped the title to. Because they going to give Edge another run with the main title. They going to give that to him. That's why he moved to Raw, because, right now there's Roman Reigns' character. It's working, so they're not going to, whatever, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So,
true. Plus, I think his prestige with the WWE championship, they wouldn't want to soil that by giving him the Universal. They probably want to give him that WWE championship and let him have a good run.
That shit up too. Like, this could be his last run with that shit. It's like he held the title WWE championship for a year, and then when he dropped it, he just say, "All right," he called it quits after that, because now he accomplished everything. He got the title that he never lost, and then boom, he had a good run. And once he lost, boom, I did everything that I came back to do. Now I'm about to go enjoy my retirement.
You know what? I would love to see Edge do one more run with the IC belt, just for nostalgia purposes.
I can see that too.
Yeah, bring it back. Do the babyface open challenge every week. I would love to see Edge wrestle every week.
Yeah, they got to do something with the open challenges. These open challenges only last like a week and a half. Like, they do it for 1 week. Next week they do it again. Then that following week, the same person that answered last week answering again, and then they're just gonna start up a feud.
You know why? Because they start with big names. When you do the open challenge, you start with little names, and then eventually you build up to the big names, because when you get the big name that you want, you can start the story. The U.S. champion has been through 4 or 5 title defenses in 5 weeks. You start telling the story, and he doesn't lose it. See, the thing is, we would be okay with DQ finishes and non-finishes if WWE didn't do so many of them. Like, you could do a non-finish, a DQ finish when he gets to that 5th title reign, and the heel, because Edge would be the face, the heel just gets disqualified because he's done everything. He can't beat Edge. Now you started the storyline, and we already got 5 weeks of backstory going into it, with Edge saying, "I beat this guy, I beat this guy, I beat this guy, I beat this guy, I beat this guy. I would have beat you, but I was too much for you."
Exactly. Now we on to round 3.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. This is what I wanted to say first, but I wanted to touch on the draft picks first. I can't believe you thought that Seth Rollins' segment was good, because you're the same person who doesn't like how they watch the TV at an angle because it doesn't look realistic. Couple things here. When they've done the home invasion stuff, from what I've seen, and I've only seen it, I think I can comfortably say 3 times, including the Seth Rollins one. Triple H showing up at Randy Orton's house, fantastic. That was a nice visual to see. Samoa Joe cutting the promo at his house. Remember that was on, I want to say, Smackdown 2016, 2017, when they were going at it. This one was utter garbage. And I'm going to tell you why. Who the fuck is not home and leaves their door unlocked?
Yeah, that is the only thing that kind of made it. But other than that, like what Seth did afterwards was he made it because he went for that asshole feel like, you know, if you know that somebody been in your house, it just kind of make you feel uncomfortable. And so that's what he did. You know, he came in with his coat, knocked some shit off, threw it on the counter, went to the refrigerator, took that orange juice, put his feet on the table and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's not like he knew the camera people was there because he was talking to him before. We were talking to Edge and stuff. So it was basically like, you know, come follow me and stuff. So,
But see, that's my problem with it. Like that normal life flaw, it took me completely out of it. Because if you're not home, why is the door unlocked? Who just leaves their home unlocked?
I think it would have worked better if they had like Seth like try to open it and then open so he busts like a window and force the way in. I think it would have made it more better that way. Or just he go look at the window and, you know, the window was unlocked. So because people do that, they leave their windows unlocked.
No, you know what would have been better? If Beth Phoenix was home in the kitchen cooking, his beautiful daughter is at the table doing her schoolwork on a Friday or helping her mom in the kitchen cooking. Seth Rollins, it's open? Follow me. Walk in. Because he immediately went to the kitchen, sees Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix then, you know, takes her daughter, puts her behind him, and then Seth Rollins does, and then it just cuts back to Edge leaving the ring. Or cut it as soon as the door is open and let the fans speculate. Was Beth Phoenix home? Was his daughter home? Oh shit, what did Seth Rollins do? There's no footage. Instead of just having this man go through, put his feet up, so I don't care. Sit in a chair, start a fireplace, so I don't care. The orange juice was disrespectful, but I mean, orange juice is what, $4 a bottle? It's Edge, he can get that. And he ate an apple.
Yeah, we do.
And he insulted some little girl's. He insulted Edge's daughter's drawings.
Yeah,
that segment could have been so much
good. Then he said, "Talk about it's trash." So yeah, it kind of be like, man, that's insulting.
I think it's because you have a kid, I don't have a kid, so I don't see it that way.
Yeah, that's insulting.
But it could have been so much better if you'd have just let the fans speculate instead of just doing what, bro? Pat McAfee is the funniest guy. He said he's giving him an MTV Cribs view. I'm like, bro, yes, Pat McAfee, you get it, because that's what the fuck this shit look like. Hey, I'm Seth Rollins, and this is my crib. Yeah, you see, I got the orange juice here. You know, I gotta eat healthy though. This some little kid's drawing. Shit's terrible. What is this? my chair. I'm gonna cut on the fireplace for you. The fuck? That shit was goofy. God awful. Keep that shit the fuck off my television.
Now we're moving on to round trace. Those trace. Moving on to round 3. We got Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss to SmackDown. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash to Raw. Hit Row to SmackDown, which you did call them
Hero.
And now we got Keith Bearcat Lee to Raw. Now with this, at first, with this whole gimmick change I was hearing, I was thinking like, nah, I don't like it. Like, let Keith Lee be Keith Lee. But, and then when he first came with the Bearcat field, I'm like, oh, nah. But then I actually learned something about it. Well, I kind of knew about it, but it kind of didn't dawn on me until like, you know, a couple days ago. That I'm like, you know what? It kind of actually makes sense because the original gimmick that this was actually the first ever African American world champion. So it does make sense this way. So hopefully, you know, WWE don't drop the ball with this one. If you're gonna do it correctly. Just do it correctly. But for everyone that's wondering, yes. A Beyond Kayfabe of the Bearcat is coming. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Man, I got so many questions. Madcap Moss and Corbin made sense. Hit Row, I'm gonna touch on them in a minute. Rhea Ripley and Nikki trash. Nikki ashtray. Nikki almost a superhero. And it's okay. And who was the other one to Raw?
It was Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. I like what they're doing with Keith Lee. I like the squash match he had against Akira Tozawa. I love them push. From what I've seen, I'm loving the change in attitude, the heel turn. I guess they're turning him heel. Love it so far. I got to see him against better competition than Akira Tozawa. But when you put Akira Tozawa in there with Keith Lee, he's got to make him look good. So he took the spirit bomb like a champ. Salamander, here's my problem. I did call it. I called Hit Row being drafted to Smackdown. When I told you I was very excited. But then I thought about it. Isaiah Swerve Scott is the only one that's main roster ready.
And top NXT North American champion.
Exactly. Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis, they are, let me say this, like I said, Isaiah Swerve Scott is ready. He's main roster ready. The rest of them are 18 months away from being ready. B-Fab is very green. She's very green. Like, I saw her wrestle on NXT 2.0 this past Tuesday. It did not look good. It did not look good. Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis, they are a good looking tag team, but they're a good looking tag team for NXT. Triple H gave them a lot of freedom, because you have to give that group its fair share of creative freedom, because nobody's going to be able to write for them. They literally have to do all of their writing. They're not going to get that on the main roster.
And that goes to what we was talking about yesterday, that I think they are actually going to treat this group like the Street Profits. With their rapping skills, the Street Profits got the solo cups, which is a stereotype. And they're going to take this Hit Row group that basically raps. They're going to take it and they're going to run with the stereotype, and then they're going to book them with the Street Profits, but with the rapping. And of course, WWE, they're going to book it incorrectly. They're not going to get them creative control. They're not. I do think it was a little bit too soon. I do think they should have been on the NXT just a little bit longer. Maybe keep them until after Mania, then call them up. But yeah, because now you're expecting something huge from them. Because I won't even count Austin Theory. They are actually the first in this draft. As of right now, they're the first NXT call-ups. I won't count Austin Theory for real, because he already made his call-up last year. But they are the first NXT, that NXT superstars to be drafted. So it's kind of leaves them of, we should be expecting something big. But knowing WWE, I don't think they're gonna book it good. Just like with the fucking the War Raiders, when they first came over, you fucking thought it was gonna be fucking lit. They got caught onto the main roster first. The first no was the name change to the Viking Raiders. No, it was a Viking Express, then the Viking Raiders. And now they just ain't never been booked to their full capacity of what we know they can do. They change their names and all this stuff. So I think it's gonna be one of those, like a team that we know that they can. Well, we know what they're worth and we know what they can put on. But being on the main roster, they're not gonna get booked like that because it's Vince McMahon.
Here's my thing, bro. It's exactly what you said, and it's a little bit deeper. Before I get into a little conspiracy theory, Isaiah Swerve Scott won the NXT North American Championship. You know what they did that next week?
What?
They did a championship cipher on NXT. You know, I'm pretty sure you know what a cipher is. They did that on NXT. You think they doing that if Isaiah Swerve Scott wins the IC belt, the US belt? Or if Top Dollar and Ashanti B. Adonis win the tag team championships? You think they let them do that?
Nah,
on SmackDown?
The first thing they're gonna do is shorten their name. Top Dollar name just gonna be either Top or it's gonna be Dollar.
Sure.
They're gonna call Isaiah Scott just Swerve.
Oh God!
They do it like what happened to Reginald? Not his name Reginald. The fuck?
You know what? He was
everybody's names. Why?
You know what? You know what? He was Reginald the Sommelier. Then he was Reginald. Now he's Reggie.
Mm-hmm. Then he gonna be Reg, just Reg. So like they gonna call all truth just truth. Keith Lee just gonna be Lee.
He just gonna be Bearcat.
Yeah, just Bearcat, Basic, yeah, shit. They taking everybody fucking name down. They already took Dolph name out. He just Ziggler.
Now they call him Dolph Ziggler still.
Time, but it's gonna lead into just being Ziggler and Rude. And it's a big opportunity to call that team Rudolph.
I'm so glad you said that because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, WWE is so fucking stupid. They come up with I like the Dirty Dogs, but a whole bunch of other tag team names have been fucking stupid. You actually have a chance.
Dirty Dogs actually fit better for it to be whatchamacallit, fit Chad Gable or Otis better versus the Alpha Academy. That shit made me feel like Jason Jordan, like he's still part of American Alpha. But I think that actually fit them better than you could call them Rudolph.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like I like the Alpha Academy though, but I'm like y'all call them the Dirty Dogs, and y'all could have called them Rudolph. Like y'all make it so hard. It's literally right there. You know what? I guarantee you, if they called him Rudolph, they could have had the next babyface team.
Yeah, the fans would have been doing that. You just coming to the ring at a combined weight of 457 pounds. Rudolph!
Exactly.
That's simple.
Exactly. They would immediately get over.
We just asked too much for WWE. I'm just gonna be asked too much.
Don't tell the WWE geeks that.
I think we just expect too much. Us as fans, we should. Whatever is least for you to expect, like that's the least obvious. Go with that because that's what they're gonna do. If it's too obvious, they're not gonna go with it. They're not gonna do it. That's what it is. That's what WWE is. But moving on to the last round of night one of the 2021 WWE draft, we have Naomi going to SmackDown, which on this, I think this is going to lead to Sonya Deville coming back into the ring, and they are going to do a feud with Sonya Deville and Naomi. And with Naomi getting drafted to SmackDown, that just basically confirmed what me and you had said. The Usos are staying on SmackDown, but they are going to be SmackDown last pick on night 2. Then we got the Mysterios to Raw, which is a good thing. It's a good pick. I can really see them actually taking the titles off of RK Bro, and then that can lead into Randy Orton backstabbing Riddle and everything too. Or they could tell him another thing, like they go to Raw, basically they still lose, and then you get Dominic getting granted more frustration. He's like, damn, we lose on SmackDown. You come to the show, we still losing, and then he turn on his dads. But it has been reported that Rey Mysterio don't want to feud with his son. He would rather hand him his mask and basically passing the torch over. Which either storyline would be great. Either storyline. Then we got Jeff Hardy to SmackDown, and now we got Austin Theory to Raw, which he was already a Raw star from last year. But that wraps up night 1 of the draft. How you feel about these picks?
Oh man. This round felt really lackluster.
Yes,
Jeff Hardy to SmackDown. Yeah, Jeff Hardy to SmackDown. I liked
that's the only one that made sense. Like that one and Naomi for real is really
I think Naomi
enough. But the rest of them, I don't think they should have fit right here. They should have, could have did something else.
Yeah, I think Naomi is going to turn heel on Sonya Deville because right now they're portraying it as Sonya Deville is the heel. But I think when Naomi turns on her, because she still hasn't gotten her match, we'll get Sonya Deville in the ring for a one-off. And then now that she's heel, we can finally get her aligned with the I was about to call on her business with the bloodline. We can get her joined with the bloodline.
I just thought about this. Sonya Deville is basically an authority figure, right?
Right.
So what if we actually get like a motherfucking story, a modern day story, but just the roles is changed, but like a McMahon and Steve Austin. But it was Sonya Deville and Naomi, since they like beef and stuff. The authority, we get that authority figure storyline, but this time we ain't never really had that with a female. Like Naomi, not Naomi, but Sonya Deville doing whatever she can to hold Naomi back, but we don't get her purpose. Like, why are you doing this? We don't get really why she's doing what she's doing, but we can tell that story. And basically, yeah, that'd be good. Then they could really lean into Naomi heel turn. As she's saying that, basically she's being held back, but basically nobody else understands or see what Naomi talking about. Then Naomi just fucking flip because she think, she the only one that see it, but anybody else is realizing it, and then that leads into that one-off match. She healed.
I like everything you said. Two problems. One, a white woman holding a black woman down, that's not going to be perceived well in public.
True.
Two, are you going to trust WWE to book it right?
See, that's really hard though, like, because the shit I'll be thinking makes so much sense, but it's like
it does.
At the same time, it is WWE that we are talking about. So that's the thing that makes it more hard, because it is WWE, and we've seen WWE track record of bullshit storylines like this. But I don't fucking know.
I mean, bro, it's just like with the Xavier Woods heel turn story I pitched to you yesterday. They got all the makings there to tell an all-time classic story. 10 years worth of baggage for Xavier Woods in a heel turn. And I even brought it up in a way to where they could get it off with today's BS, like the championship contenders match and everything else. Mm-hmm. He, like I said, he cuts that promo. He's going in. But WWE won't book it right. This is a year-long program, slowly told. They'll throw it away in 2 months.
Yeah, that is true. But now we got the last segment of the day. We got the main event of the night. We got Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, a WrestleMania rematch. Now, basically, I kind of knew when it was getting to the show, Becky Lynch came out and she was saying at the commentary desk, I love Becky on commentary. She is so fucking hilarious. But it kind of I at one point I was like, all right, the match is gonna end in a non-contest because Becky's gonna get involved. Now, I was wrong about that. I was wrong about one thing. It didn't end in a no contest, but Becky did get involved, which I was right about. But basically, Bianca came in the ring. Her ponytail was the last thing to enter. Becky, she basically put her, laid on it, and then Sasha rolled it up for the pin. After that, Sasha got up, boot, well, not even a boot, a motherfucking heel to the face. These thick ass, long ass heels that Charlotte had on to the face. She kicked her and she kicked Bianca, and then held her title up while Becky was holding her title up. And basically, she was just wiping her off to the side. Like, whatever, I'm the queen. I run this shit. The queen's back on Smackdown. I fucks with it. I fucks with the whole thing. Now, like I was saying earlier, I really think I hope they run to the story of two women champions on Smackdown. And then, I really hope they do that. I really hope so. But I like this the thing, how I always be mad about matches ending in no contest or a roll up and everything like that. But this is beneficial. It makes sense this way. They're building up this feud between the three. But now with Charlotte in the midst, and she basically the queen, and she was running SmackDown when she was on it and shit like that, like last year or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I just want to see where it goes. I hope they really run this double champion on SmackDown shit. But if you run the double champion, don't have her appear on Raw. That could be your perfect time to have, the freshly women that you drafted to Raw. You can have them battle, and so you can be building up the next contender. Then at the next pay-per-view, at Survivor Series or something, you can go ahead and have them. Let's say you draft Liv Morgan to Raw, and then meanwhile, while Charlotte's on SmackDown with the Raw Women's Championship, and she doing what she doing on SmackDown, you can be building up. So Liv Morgan is, basically running through the women's roster. Boom, boom, boom. So now getting time for Survivor Series, and they announce the match: Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. And then that's how you can put the title on Liv Morgan. Boom, she bring the title back to Raw, so now she getting ups for that. Plus, I think it works on both sides. It's gonna bring the viewership in on SmackDown because you're wondering what's going on. Y'all got 2 women's championships. What's going on? It's gonna bring the viewership on Raw because you're wondering if Charlotte gonna appear or if y'all gonna get a new championship or whatever. Yeah. Plus, it's a great way to if they do happen and Liv Morgan take the belt from her, or whoever take the belt from Charlotte, it's a great way for you to go ahead and bring in a new design of the Raw Women's Championship if that's what y'all want to do too. So we can go either way with this.
Salamander, once again, you're giving them way too much credit. So here's what's going to happen. I already said it earlier, they're going to swap titles. But I'm going to throw you my part B. And I was talking to a friend about this earlier. They've really been building up Shayna Baszler. She's broken in kayfabe. She's broken Nia Jax and Eva Marie's arm in 2 weeks. I can see them putting that belt on Shayna Baszler. If they don't want to just do the swapping the titles, I can see them put that belt on Shayna Baszler, and we get that Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler match we were supposed to get at WrestleMania.
And she get drafted to SmackDown. Yeah. Well, it just depends wherever Becky go. Wherever Becky go, I think Monday really defines the show. So my question to you is about Monday, because I kind of feel like, the draft on night 1 was kind of lackluster, just a little bit. But I really feel like, they was basically saving it because Raw, we all know Raw needs the ratings, they need the viewership. So I'm really thinking they're waiting to draft the big names like the Seth Rollins, all the other big names and everything like that. Most of the NXT talent and shit, I think they saving that for Raw. Because, it's going to be like 6 rounds on Raw because it's 3 hours or so.
Probably.
Yeah. Plus Goldberg, they already confirmed Goldberg's appearing on Raw too. So the Almighty gonna get drafted wherever he goes. I guarantee Goldberg gonna get drafted to the same place and everything. So I really think they saving the big names for Raw and everything too.
I can see that. Makes sense.
But that's it, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. That was it for night 1 of the 2021 WWE draft. What do you guys think about the draft? Was y'all feeling that, or was y'all feeling like it was lackluster like I was? Let us know in the comment sections below. Once again, Camilo Salamander, my co-host KB the Mark, and we will see you on the next one.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.